So the first thing you're gonna want to do is just start off with super basic drums. So we're gonna go over how to program a super basic trap drum pattern right now, and then everything we do is gonna be based off that. So of course, we're gonna be working off the free 14 drum kit, link in the description below to download, and we'll grab some sounds from the Centerfold drum kit as well, link in the description below to download. So we just want to start off with like a really nice snare that we like. I like that. And then a really good kick. You know what? Actually, let's grab one from the Centerfold drum kit, because that kit has got one of my favorite kicks right now. Two of them, honestly. Centerfold drum kit, but this God kick I've really been fucking with a lot lately. So let's grab that. And so what we want to do is just program a super basic pattern. So we're going to come here, and on every third beat in our pattern, we're starting off in 140 BPM. We can even turn on our metronome because it's helpful. Every third beat, we're going to drop that snare. If your drums do this weird goofy thing where they repeat, it's because you have loop points on, and a lot of samples just load up like that for some reason. It has to do with like how you export it or something. You just come in there and do what I just did. Come in. If use loop points is checked, just uncheck it. Another thing that happens sometimes is your note might be stuck on, or your sample might be stuck on the same pitch no matter what note you move it to. Just make sure this time dilation knob or time stretch knob is all the way down to its lowest setting or down to 0. Those are two helpful ways to make sure your samples are just hitting the way they should be in terms of drums or one shots or anything like that. And then to just make sure we're working in our playlist and not off the pattern, we'll come here, press L, and now we're in the playlist. We can come back into the pattern, and we can go ahead and start programming our kick. And we're just going to do something super standard. What I've noticed is that this is like the most common pattern that you're going to hear. You can toss on a soft clipper. So now that we have our soft clipper, we can just level into that a little bit so we get a bit of a better punch. I'm just using the meter up here to look. So now we just want to come back in here, and we'll go back to the 14 drum kit for this. And we want to just keep adding sounds that are pretty simple and that we can do basic programming with. So the next thing would be like a hi-hat, for example, and we can just do a super basic. And we'll literally just come here, fill each two-step, make sure loop points are off, maybe increase that out a little bit to get rid of that tail end. We can add some swing or shift to kind of like give the bounce some personality right from the jump. It's always a helpful thing that you can do. I like to do that to a lot of my hats and perks and stuff like that. You can pitch this. I think that's cool. Just build a basic bounce. That's what you want to do. Build something that you know is good and solid, and then just go where your emotions take you from there. And then the last thing I like to do is add the 808, and I won't program anything crazy. I'll literally just have it match the kick, honestly. Like, I literally could have just copied the kick pattern, actually. Like, instead of doing all this, actually, I'm probably just going to do that. Let's increase that out. Give it some boost. So the next thing we want to do is, this is where I would usually just bring in a melody, and from here I'm really just trying to figure out, you know, something that's gonna fit the bounce that I've kind of come up with and created so far. There we go. Let's just, again, this isn't really about mixing, but let's EQ that melody so that it doesn't get in the way of the 808. mean, okay, let's add some more effects. Why not? Why not? Let's see. Let's do some fruity chorus. Let's do some delay. Let's do some reverb. The goal here is to really not overthink it. Really just go with your heart. The same way you were picking a sample just based off of what you really fuck with, just do the same thing. Like, just because that's how you're gonna get the most unique bounce, basically, from what I've, you know, learned and come to understand through my 6 years of doing this shit and making like a livable income from it. So let's just do something simple. Like, first of all, messing with the velocities in general is gonna add bounce. Like, even if you stick with the basic two-step, just, and I'm sure a lot of people know this that are watching this, that's gonna be super helpful. Boom, to just duplicate that over. It's already better. It's already a million times better. And then we can do something like, bro, if you ever play with the note panning in like the piano roll, that's good, but make sure you always click on another note that's not panned when you're done and like switch back to velocity and just like double check and make sure you're good. Because like I one time didn't, and like it'll lock the last note you clicked in FL Studio, and I made a beat that was completely panned to the left and I had no idea why. It was because of that. So just like, you know. That shit is hard right there. So like right there, like I don't want the hats to get in the way of what's happening with that snare right there. So I'm gonna just mute all of those right there, and I'm gonna probably mute this one coming into it too, like that. I have something else going on, but yeah, that's basically what I want. Okay, let's see what we can do with the kick. Let's just, something simple like that might be nice. So now I'm working on the 808 again, just really keeping it simple for the most part. Really just following the kick. Now this is the first time I'm actually doing something fancy. I'm gonna come here. By the way, I gotta walk back that comment that I made the other day about FL Studio freezing or crashing a lot. It probably still crashes, but ever since I got my new computer, it has not crashed at all. So I think maybe it's just my computer being old. I feel like if you have a pretty good computer, it won't crash. Just like duh, but I wanted to walk that back. So the first step is build the basic bounce with, you know, kick, snare, hi-hat, open hat. You really, those are the main things. Second step is bring in a loop that matches the vibe you want. Third step is start using the same samples you were using, pulling things out, adding things in to create a bounce that matches the vibe of the melody that you selected. We're still in that third step right now. Last thing we're messing with right now is the open hat. I didn't add any swing to this, so I do want to add swing to this. A lot of shift. And I actually will add some shift to the 808 as well. I think that could sound cool. Yeah. I think we could go even more swing, bro. Kenny Beats said that once. You could really add a lot of swing to your open hats. Ooh, now it has become too much. There we go. You can really push it though. Yeah, I'm really liking the bounce on this. Okay, so for this last step, we want to add in more sounds that add to the bounce that fit the mood and vibe that we've created, but that also speak to the character that we have as a producer. You know, you just want to be unique with it. Again, don't overthink it. The whole point is that we want you to bring the new bounce to the music. Like, we don't want you to keep doing the same basic bounce. Like, we need you to like not overthink it and just do what comes to your heart. And so like that's what you really do want to do in this whole process, but especially in this last part. Really go for some things that you know you might not normally use, or things that you use like traditionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, just really have fun with it. Like, I'm gonna come in here and add some effects to this. Again, didn't really mix the whole beat, just adding effects to things that in a way that I feel like is gonna add bounce and character to the drum programming, really. That's hard. Even a little bit of reverb on that would go crazy. That's hard. That's hard. I've noticed that like breaking down the project really zaps something of a lot of creativity for me when I'm working on a project. So automation has been like a savior for that, for sure. So I highly recommend it. I like using slide notes because that's why I made this sample so long, is so that I could just slide it forever. Slide notes just sound so cool to me. Okay, cool. Let's add like just a few more things. It's really done. The real key is to know when to stop. Knowing where to start, the basic pattern, and knowing when to stop. When it is full enough, all it needs is structuring at this point, which is a tutorial for another day. We will do it very soon. Actually, after this, we're gonna hit mixing on the same FLP, stock plugins only. It's gonna go crazy. I got y'all. And then we're gonna do arrangement. I got y'all with the automations. Structuring is gonna go even deeper into production engineering. It's going to be production engineering 102. So I hope you guys like the 101 that's dropping in a few days for me, but would have already dropped by the time you've seen this. So all right, cool. So like, let's do something like this. First of all, like we could intro it with just like a little bit of creativity here. Okay, and that's basically it. Like I said, next time we're going to be covering the mixing. It's going to be the very next tutorial after this one, so I'll see you in 2 days for that. Again, TLDR, literally just start with a super basic pattern. It doesn't even actually have to be the one that I showed you. Just pick one that you hear a lot or that you know you can make that sounds good, and just make it every time you start. It's the key. It's like, don't get stuck at the beginning. Drag in a melody that you like, or make a melody that fits the vibe that you're going for that day, for that moment in time. Just, you know, the key is to just do something that matches the creative process. Do not get stuck. Then you want to come in using the same drum samples you've already been using. Just kind of develop the bounce a little further, take things out, add things in, get trippy with it, have fun. And then the last step, or the second to last step really, is to just add in more creative sounds and really try to think outside of the box with these sounds. Do unconventional things with the bounce. Really, again, keep having fun with it. And then that last step is do very subtle things in terms of like structuring to add even more to the bounce of the drum pattern, stuff like that. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section below. I will see you in the next one. I love you. Shout out Kofi, Cash Kofi, the editor. I love you especially, dog. Peace.